by James Whitham, but his teammate Niall Mackenzie now firmly established in second place, and it will bring the championship lead down. The crowd already know that James Whitham has his double for the day at the Cadbury Park circuit. Oh, look at Jefferies. Jefferies dicing now with Peter Graves. Peter Graves on the Ducati.
Goes right, and now up towards the bomb hole as David Jefferies pulls a big wheelie. Well,
is number 9 on the only Honda, and we're with David Jefferies now, Roger. And having another look then at Peter Graves in the Honda RC45 that he's sitting on at the moment. As I speak, he pulls a huge wheelie.
This is Old Hall Corner, the corner after the start and finish straight. Accelerating out of there, the bike trying to snap out of Chris Walker's hands.
If this is what we have early in the season, what a cracking season we have ahead of us. Kawasaki goes in a straight, a huge wobble. I was going to say in a straight line, but Haydon was not in a straight line.
Has he made another all-too-familiar bad start that saw him drop from second on the grid to 8th at the end of lap 1.
Grand Prix 500, that is incredible. Now Mackenzie charging hard on the back of Michael Rutter. Rutter, I remind you now, in third place. Mackenzie making a play. He had a dreadful start, Steve. He's having to work hard.
He really hasn't had a good start all year, Niall Mackenzie. He's trying to get himself up into third. He's right behind Michael Rutter. Again, I think we'll see the speed of the Yamaha as they exit clearways here. Fourth gear, into fifth, right round to 14,000 RPM. And he has a look on the inside, and he does. He takes Michael Rutter as they cross the start and the finish line. Can Rutter get back inside him as they go into paddock? I doubt it. Niall Mackenzie now up into third place.
The 35-year-old Scotsman Mackenzie then in third. He's had several third places this year.
But we're on board now with Niall Mackenzie, following Terry Rymer, number 7 in front of us. They come out onto the start and finish straight. You see that red light there flashing, that says it needs to change gear, and you can see why. It's doing nearly 14,000 RPM. Down the inside of Terry Rymer at Paddock Hill Bend, down 3 gears, into third, accelerating now quickly up the hill, staying in third, into fourth, now down into second gear. From number 2, we're on board again with Niall Mackenzie. Mackenzie seems to be the fastest man on the circuit. He's really closing in there as they went through Graham Hill Bend. I'm actually testing this bike at Snetterton tomorrow, so look after it, Niall. So Niall Mackenzie, they come through into clearways at this point. Right close now, he'll again be looking for the inside line. It's very, very important to get the driver looking. We're back on board with him. We saw him holding 4th gear, that red light, screaming to have a gear change, but he didn't. So he's now down into third as they go into clearways. Let the revs drop right the way down. Keep it off the power because the bike's banked over a great amount as they come out of this corner.
Jefferies dicing now with Peter Graves. Peter Graves on the Ducati number 252, and David Jefferies number 9 on the only Honda. And we're with David Jefferies now, Roger. Not as quick as the Ducati, obviously.
No, this is down the very long straight. You see the 100 and 200 metre boards, and David Jefferies is trying to go up the inside there, but there's no way. It's a very tight left-hand turn into the S's before it goes right. And now up towards the bomb hole as David Jefferies pulls a big wheelie trying to keep the front wheel down.
And having another look then at Peter Graves, we're coming round Coram Curve, and it'll be a sprint down to the interesting situation of Russell's and David Jefferies going all the way down the gearbox. Oh dear! Oh, he's got again! That's a carbon copy of the first race. David Jefferies, what a fruitless day it's been for him at Snetterton. The long walk back to the paddock, Roger.
Here's the replay, and as you can see, David Jefferies comes into Russell's. Not a chance of getting round the corner. Poor Peter Graves leans into the corner and scoops up David Jefferies. Fight for 4th place between Jim Moodie and David Jefferies kept the record crowd on their feet. Jefferies' new engine outperformed Moodie's Suzuki, and he was able to pass Moodie going into the S's. Being conscious of protecting his racing line, Jefferies had to use all of the road up on his approach to the hairpin. However, Moodie was to get a shock. Michael Rutter made a brave and successful attempt to take 5th place away from him.
Now we're riding with David Jefferies on the Honda, 4th in round 15, I remind you. We're chasing Ian Simpson on the Ducati, and this engine in the Honda, the only Honda in the race, has been breathed on for this weekend, and my goodness me, been breathed on with a fair amount of success. Oh, and through into 7th. That's number 22, that's Del Beatty's Ian Simpson on the Ducati. Simpson, the remaining rider since Jim Moodie defected in the Ducati team, and he is now heading away out of the Devil's Elbow, leading David Jefferies. Jefferies, and that Ducati looking very, very quick indeed. Present at this meeting as a spectator, World Superbike contender John Reynolds, accompanied by World Superbike champion potential material Aaron Slight from New Zealand, who's here watching. So that gives you some idea as to the value the overseas riders place on this domestic championship. Down the Stevie Straight, up towards the Lake Esses, Jefferies closing dramatically on the brakes. Roger, this is sensational on bike stuff. What's up with Simpson?
Well, Simpson put his leg out there, indicating that he was pulling out of the race for some reason. I can only assume that he's got a problem with the Ducati, but this allowed David Jefferies, of course, to take that 7th place back over, and there's confirmation of that.
We're looking at David Jefferies. Oh, David Jefferies almost slipped away there. He's chasing Matt Llewellyn, who is teammate to Terry Rymer. Matt Llewellyn having moved into the Ducati team mid-season when the Kawasaki effort fell apart. And Jefferies is very, very good on the brakes here at the Lake Esses. Llewellyn ahead of him. Is he going to get in front of Llewellyn before the hairpin? Looking at the inside, Matt Llewellyn moving across to... Oh, dear me! Llewellyn went out of race 15 with brake problems. It certainly looks as though those brake problems have recurred. Whitham might well be looking to World Superbike for 1997. Should that happen, we are denied the privilege of Whitham in the British Championship. Back with the Honda of David Jefferies, the much improved, very, very fast Honda.
Here at Alton Park, and that puts Walker down into 2nd place. On board now with Chris Walker. You can see Niall Mackenzie just in front of him. This is Old Hall Corner, the corner after the start and finish straight. Accelerating out of there, the bike trying to snap out of Chris Walker's hands. This is a blind brow, very difficult. Down 1 gear into Cascades Corner, squeezing on the throttle now, the revs building up. Watch the rev counter in the right-hand corner of the screen. About 100 miles an hour here, up into 5th and 6th gear for this fast left-hand bend. 120 miles an hour, and James Haydon goes underneath Chris Walker. That was a phenomenal move. Back on board now with Chris Walker, and now Hislop's attacked. So this is at the slowest part on the circuit, the hairpin bend. Hislop up to 3rd.
This is fantastic stuff. If this is what we have early in the season, what a cracking season we have ahead of us. Up the inside, and indeed it was, in the name of Steve Hislop, who is charging this fantastic battle for 3rd place. James Haydon ahead of us, illustrating just how quickly the Kawasaki goes in straight. A huge wobble. I was going to say in a straight line, but Haydon was not in a straight line. A huge wobble, Roger. Talking of Walker and Haydon, that's Haydon in front. We're riding with the Kawasaki kid, Chris Walker. He's up the inside at Old Hall, side by side, heading for it, goes for it, and takes it. He'll come out of this right-hander. Watch for the Suzuki on the left. No, Walker sweeps across, almost clips the grass, and keeps the Suzuki firmly behind him. Man, and we're riding with Moodie in 5th.
Well, this is Moodie just about to take Matt Llewellyn as they approach the hairpin, and Moodie's actually gone up into 4th place, a little bit wide there. And there's Matt Llewellyn coming back underneath him, so Llewellyn back into 4th, Moodie back in 5th as Hislop comes over the line to complete lap number 1.
Have to work hard, but we're going well, Roger.
Yeah, and that's the shot from Moodie's bike once again, and Llewellyn still in front of Jim Moodie, and Jim Moodie misses a gear there. That could cost him dearly as they approach the start and finish to complete lap number 2, and Rutter comes past, so that gear change from Jim Moodie that he missed there allowed Michael Rutter back up to 5th.
Rutter having scored very consistently. It's the man in yellow I'm talking about, ahead of Jim Moodie. We're riding on the Ducati of Jim Moodie at the moment, which doesn't seem to have nearly as much speed as that big engine that Michael Rutter has in his. Fell very, very heavily. One man who hasn't been off, but hasn't been here for a number of years, riding with him now, Neil Hodgson.
This is down into Mansfield Corner. Bayliss has gone wide there, missed the apex of the corner completely, cut back across in front, but Bayliss number 32 still in front of Neil Hodgson on bike 25. Back with Neil Hodgson. This is the bottom of the mountain. Oh dear, Bayliss has gone wide again. Flick it left, flick it right, up the mountain. Neil Hodgson now is ahead of Troy Bayliss.
But the pace car's on the track, and Bayliss has passed Hodgson. Did he see the flag? Was there an earlier flag? There's a little bit of conjecture there as to whether maybe Troy Bayliss has passed Hodgson under that flag situation, and Hodgson is now stalking Chris Walker, who himself has got the nickname Stalker now for Chris Walker. Hodgson though looking hard at the back end of Chris Walker. Has he got a chance, Roger?
I just felt him lose the front end there. Yes, he's on the grass, so the view that we've got there is Neil Hodgson rejoining the track. The chances of him catching Chris Walker now are pretty slim. It's the last lap, and there are very few overtaking opportunities left round Cadwell Park.
Cadwell Park, the riders treat it with a great deal of respect. It's narrow, it's tight, and I went round in the course car. I couldn't believe how undulating it is here. The G-forces are incredible. For example, the bottom of Mansfield, as we look through on the inside of Craigill goes James Haydon. James Haydon, another rider on the Suzuki, the number 8 Suzuki, and fighting back. No team orders in the Suzuki camp. Craigill, unbelievably brave on the inside of James Haydon, but he lost the drive out of the bend. The two Suzukis neck and neck. We're riding now with Matt Llewellyn, number 3, who incidentally has a broken left scaphoid. He crashed his mountain bike while he was out training, and it's not good to have a scaphoid. That's the bone that connects the thumb to the wrist when you're doing Cadwell Park with all of its rights and lefts, a lot of turns, 14 bends on this circuit, and Llewellyn's Kawasaki is really, really quick. It's going past the factory Suzuki of Craigill. Is he going to hold the position? Yes, no, he's not. Craigill sweeps round the left hand on the apex of the bend. Roger, this is great stuff again.
Well, there's Mackenzie now coming underneath Llewellyn, so Llewellyn's really got it all wrong, and I think he took the wrong line into Park Corner.
It's so often the case, if you get one bend wrong, you can't string all the ones after it together as well, so certainly that happened to Llewellyn. He lost out there big time. The field now getting away. Oh, he's lost out really big time. He's dumped the Kawasaki, binned it. Yeah, that's the camera eye view. Matt Llewellyn is there somewhere. The bike is on the track. The marshals, though, acting very quickly. And there's Matt Llewellyn, a little bit stunned. And that's very bad news for Matt. He was trying desperately hard under a difficult set of circumstances. Let's take a look at that again.
Well, this is down into Mansfield Corner. You can see he's missed the apex of the corner on the left-hand side there. He's squirting the power on at the same point he ordinarily would have done. The back wheel spun and it's flicked him off the high side. That's the worst type of crash that a motorcyclist can have. It always hurts.
Look at that, Chris Walker out, breaks himself, runs wide, loses a place to the Suzuki, and this is the Suzuki, James Haydon Suzuki. He's pulling away from Chris Walker, so Walker really did himself no favours at all there. Into Allard's corner, 4th gear, accelerating out of there. We're still on board with that Suzuki, screaming as it goes up towards the complex. Walker's coming back at him under the brakes there, into Cobb Corner, accelerating through here, 2nd gear. They'll just flick it into 3rd as they go through the left-hander. Walker's coming around the outside. Can he dive down the inside as they come into Seagrave? No, he can't, because we can just see him on the inside. Chris Walker seems to be very fast on the slow corners, but he's losing it down the straights.
I think Chris Walker's angry with himself because he realises he did himself a power of no good at the chicane. He lost a handful of points and he does not need to do that.